The 1974 United Kingdom new pence, 10-pence coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, represents a vital chapter in British numismatic history, one that intertwines monetary reform, national identity, and evolving coinage traditions during the second half of the 20th century. Issued just 3 years after the United Kingdom's landmark decimalization of its currency system in 1971, the 10p coin from 1974 retained the label new pence, a term used between 1968 and 1981 to differentiate the newer decimal coins from the pre-decimal coinage that had formed the backbone of British commerce for centuries. Made of copper nickel, a durable alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This coin weighed 11.31 grams and measured 28.5 millimeters in diameter, making it one of the largest circulating decimal coins in British pockets during that era. On the obverse of the coin is the right-facing portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the esteemed British sculptor Arnold Machin, whose portrayal was first introduced on decimal coins in 1968. This portrait is renowned for its stately grace and modern simplicity, showing the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a gift from her grandmother, Queen Mary, which lent the coin a sense of tradition while keeping the design elegant and approachable. The legend surrounding her portrait reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 1974, which stands for Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This inscription, rooted in centuries of British monarchic tradition, reflects both her sovereign status and the deeply entrenched ties between the monarchy and the Church of England. On the reverse of the coin is a heraldic image of the lion passing guard ant, a lion walking with its right forepaw raised and head facing forward, symbolizing England's strength, bravery, and historic royal lineage. This imagery originates from the crest of England, long a symbol of the monarchy and national sovereignty. The design was created by Christopher Ironside, a British artist and designer who played a major role in shaping the look of the UK's early decimal coinage. The lion is shown within a clean and dignified frame, accompanied by the denomination inscription New Pence above and the number 10 below, clearly denoting its face value. Interestingly, the term new pence was a deliberate choice in the early 1970s to help the British public distinguish the newly introduced decimal coins from older denominations like the shilling and florin, which were being phased out. Although both systems were designed to coexist for a time, the decimal system marked a fundamental shift in how Britons thought about money. Decimalization, enacted on February 15, 1971, known as Decimal Day, was a mammoth undertaking that replaced the old pound-s-d system, pounds, shillings, and pence, with a much simpler metric structure, 100 pence to a pound. The 10p coin was initially introduced in 1968 to circulate alongside the 2-shilling coin, which had the same value and dimensions, helping ease the transition. The coin from 1974, therefore, represents a maturity of the new system, produced during a time when most Britons had grown more accustomed to the decimal currency and the economy had largely shifted to its use. Beyond the coin's physical and symbolic attributes, the 1974 10p also reflects the broader economic and political climate of Britain at the time. The mid-1970s were marked by inflation, industrial unrest, and fluctuating energy prices, particularly during the global oil crisis. Against this backdrop, coin production had to balance cost, durability, and public usability. The copper-nickel alloy, while not precious, provided excellent resistance to corrosion and ensured the coin's longevity. The Royal Mint, operating from its then new facility in Llantrisant, Wales, opened in 1968, produced vast quantities of coins annually to meet the demands of the changing currency. While no mint mark appears on circulating coins, all 1974 10p pieces were produced in this location. These coins remained in circulation well into the late 20th century until significant redesign and size reduction occurred in 1992, when the 10p coin was made smaller and lighter to improve portability and efficiency in commerce. The earlier, larger 10p coins, including those from 1974, were subsequently withdrawn from circulation after 1993 but remain legal tender, though rarely seen in day-to-day transactions today. Numismatically, the 1974 10p coin is not rare, with a mintage of 133,376,000 pieces, making a common find in circulated condition. However, uncirculated specimens, especially those in mint state, graded MS-65 and above, are of interest to collectors focusing on decimal coinage, British currency history, or Queen Elizabeth II long reign. Some 1974 10p coins were also included in annual Brilliant Uncirculated BU mint sets issued by the Royal Mint, which offer superior quality for numismatists. There were no proofs made for general release that year, but examples struck with extra care for collectors do exist in official sets. While the coin's base metal composition and high mintage prevent it from being highly valuable in monetary terms, its historic and symbolic value is growing steadily, particularly in light of Queen Elizabeth II's passing in 2022, which has prompted renewed interest in coins from throughout her reign. The coin also marks a cultural moment in British history when old traditions were modernized, when the British public grappled with change, and when the monarchy's image was being steadily updated for a new, post-imperial, and more egalitarian era. In conclusion, the 1974 new Pence 10p coin is far more than a piece of pocket change. It is a small but enduring artifact of transformative era in British monetary history. It combines classic heraldic design with mid-century modern aesthetics, capturing the balance between tradition and reform that characterized the Britain of the 1970s. The lion on its reverse roars with centuries of symbolism, while Queen Elizabeth II's dignified profile links the present to the past. As time passes, such coins gain new layers of meaning, not only as currency, but as cultural touchstones, reminders of a nation navigating change while anchored by enduring institutions. Next topped the 1971 new Pence 10p coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a numismatically and historically significant coin in British coinage. This coin marks a pivotal moment in the UK's monetary history, as it was part of the first full decimal coinage system introduced by the Royal Mint. Decimalization in the United Kingdom occurred on February 15, 1971, a date famously known as Decimal Day. Prior to this, British currency was based on the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence, where 1 pound equaled 20 shillings and 1 shilling equaled 12 pence, making for a total of 240 pence per pound. The new decimal system introduced a straightforward structure with 100 new pence in a pound, simplifying calculations, transactions, accounting, and education. The 10 new pence coin issued in 1971 was among the inaugural decimal coins minted for general circulation, replacing the older florin 2 shilling coin, which had also had a value of 1/10 of a pound. Interestingly, the size of the 10p coin was deliberately made similar to that of the florin to ease the transition for the British public. The obverse of the 1971 10 new pence coin bears the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Mackin, a sculptor who was responsible for one of the most familiar images of the Queen during the mid-20th century. This effigy, introduced in 1968 and used until 1984, features Her Majesty wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, which was a wedding gift from Queen Mary. Around the portrait, the inscription reads Elizabeth II DG Reg, FD, which stands for Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensatrix, translating to Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This Latin inscription emphasizes the monarch's divine right and religious role, which is traditional in British coinage. This regal and graceful portrayal of the Queen became a hallmark of British coins for nearly 2 decades, appearing on coins, stamps, and official medallions. On the reverse of the 1971 10p coin, one finds a design by Christopher Ironside, another prominent figure in British numismatic art. The reverse features a crowned lion, known as the lion passant guard ant, which is a traditional symbol of England. The lion is standing with one front paw raised, and its head turned toward the viewer, wearing the royal crown. This heraldic symbol had previously been used in British coinage, and its continuation on the new decimal 10p coin offers a sense of continuity with the nation's history and monarchy. The inscription around the lion reads New Pence above and 10 below, clearly indicating the coin's denomination in the new system. The phrase New Pence was used from 1968 until 1981 to differentiate between the new decimal coinage and the pre-decimal pence, especially since both systems circulated simultaneously for some years. The 1971 10p coin was made of copper nickel, an alloy composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighed 11.31 grams and had a diameter of 28.5 millimeters, making it quite large compared to modern 10p coins. Its thickness was approximately 2.5 millimeters, and the edge was milled reeded, which gave it a distinguished look and helped deter coin clipping. These characteristics remained unchanged until 1992, when the 10p coin was reduced in size to reflect modern minting standards and improve convenience for the public. Despite its large size, the 1971 version was popular at the time because of its similarity to the florin and its solid feel in the hand. In terms of mintage, the 1971 10 new pence coin was produced in massive quantities to ensure widespread availability during the decimal transition. The Royal Mint struck over 336 million of these coins in 1971, making it an extremely common coin at the time. Because of this high mintage, the coin holds relatively low monetary value today in the collector market, unless it is in mint or uncirculated condition. However, its historical and cultural value remains high, particularly among those interested in the history of British currency and Queen Elizabeth II's long reign. The 1971 10p coin is often included in decimal coin sets and introductory numismatic collections. Culturally, this coin represents more than just a medium of exchange. It is a tangible link to a major transformation in British society and economics. The shift to decimalization reflected broader modernization trends in Britain during the post-war period, as the country sought to standardize systems, streamline institutions, and participate more smoothly in global trade. Decimalization also aligned Britain more closely with other countries, many of which had already adopted decimal systems long before. For younger generations growing up after the changeover, the 10p coin became just another part of daily life. But for older citizens, the change was profound and occasionally bewildering, requiring education, adaptation, and a temporary coexistence of two monetary systems. In conclusion, the 1971 new pence 10 pence coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a landmark piece in British numismatic history. It combines strong artistic elements from prominent British designers, symbolism rooted in the nation's heraldic tradition, and an embodiment of a pivotal monetary reform. While the coin itself may not be rare or particularly valuable in the market today due to its high mintage and long circulation life, its significance lies in what it represents: a unifying moment of change, monarchy, and national identity. It's a coin that tells a rich story of transition, continuity, and the British people's ability to adapt to a new system while retaining elements of their cherished past. Collectors, historians, and those with nostalgic memories of Decimal Day continue to hold the 1971 10 new pence coin in high regard, not for its rarity, but for its symbolic weight as a cornerstone of modern British coinage next top. The 1969 new pence 10 pence coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a historically significant British decimal coin that played a key role in the United Kingdom's transition from the old pre-decimal currency system to the modern decimal system. This transition, known as Decimal Day, officially took place on February 15, 1971, but the new decimal coins, including the 10p, were introduced early, starting in 1968, to help the public get used to the new currency. The 10 pence coin, dated 1969, was the second year of issue for this denomination and is part of the first generation of decimal coinage. This coin is notable not only for its numismatic value, but also for its symbolic representation of the UK's economic modernization during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, who was sovereign during a period of great cultural and economic transformation in Britain. The obverse front of the coin features a second definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the artist Arnold Mackin, which was introduced in 1968 and used on British coinage until 1984. In this effigy, the Queen is depicted wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a piece of jewelry that belonged to her grandmother, Queen Mary. Surrounding the portrait are the words Elizabeth II DG Reg FD 1969, which stands for Elizabeth II Day Grazia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen Defender of the Faith. This traditional Latin inscription reflects the monarchy's ties to both divine right and the Church of England. The obverse design was striking in its simplicity and regal dignity, befitting a monarch who was then entering the 17th year of her reign. The reverse back of the coin was designed by Christopher Ironside, one of Britain's most respected heraldic designers. It features a stylized depiction of a crowned lion passing guard ant, which is a lion shown in a walking stance, looking outward and wearing a royal crown. This lion is a traditional symbol of England, and it also appears in the royal coat of arms. The inscription New Pence appears at the top of the coin, and the denomination 10 is prominently displayed at the bottom. The term New Pence was used on UK decimal coins from 1968 to 1981 to help distinguish them from the old pre-decimal pennies and to avoid confusion among the public, especially as 1 shilling 12 pence was equivalent in value to the new 5 pence, and 2 shillings of florin equaled the new 10 pence. The coin's clean and bold heraldic design gave it a timeless look that conveyed both tradition and modernity. The 1969 10 new pence coin was minted in copper nickel, a durable alloy consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a silver-like appearance and resistance to wear and corrosion. The coin has a diameter of 28.5 millimeters, a thickness of 2.5 millimeters, and weighs approximately 11.31 grams. This made it significantly larger and heavier than the modern 10 pence coins introduced later in 1992, when the size was reduced to align with cost and practicality concerns. The larger size pre-1992 10 pence coins, like the 1969 issue, are sometimes referred by collectors as large-type coins to distinguish them from the later small-type versions. In terms of mintage, a large number of 1,969 10p coins were produced, as the government sought to distribute decimal coins widely in preparation for the full switch in 1971. Over 133 million of these coins were minted in 1969, making them common in circulation at the time. However, many of these coins have since been withdrawn and demonetized. On June 30th, 1993, the large-sized 10 pence coins were officially demonetized by the Royal Mint and ceased to be legal tender. From that point on, only the reduced-sized 10 pence coins introduced in 1992 remain valid for use in commerce. Despite their demonetization, older coins like the 1969 10p still hold numismatic interest for collectors, especially those focusing on decimal transition coins or those building full-date sets of early Elizabeth II coinage. The 1969 10p is often regarded as a bridge between two monetary systems: the traditional pounds, shillings, and pence system that have been used for centuries, and the modern decimal system that aligned the UK with international standards and simplified daily transactions. As such, it is of both historical and educational value, representing a major monetary reform under the steady gaze of Queen Elizabeth II, whose long reign oversaw numerous transformations in British society. These coins also serve as relics of mid-20th century British design and craftsmanship, with Ironside's reverse embodying a proud, heraldic vision of national identity. While the coin is not rare in the absolute sense due to its high mintage, its value to collectors varies based on condition. Well-worn examples from circulation are generally worth their base metal value or slightly more, while uncirculated or proof versions, especially those housed in original Royal Mint sets, can command higher prices. Collectors may also seek this coin for its role in completing type sets of decimal coinage, or for its place in Elizabeth II's long series of portraits and coinage issues. Proof versions were also struck for presentation sets, which may carry added numismatic value, due to their superior strike and finish. In summary, the 1969 New Pence 10p coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is an emblematic product of Britain's economic modernization and the decimalization era. With its striking design, durable composition, and historical context, it remains a favorite among British coin collectors and historians alike. It marks a moment of great transition, representing the adaptability of a monarchy and a nation that was entering a new chapter in its financial and social history. The coin stands today as both a piece of currency and a cultural artifact from a transformative time in modern British history. Next top. The 1968 New Pence 10p coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II holds a significant place in the history of British coinage, particularly within the context of the United Kingdom's transition to a decimal currency system. The coin is part of the first wave of decimal coins that were introduced prior to Decimal Day, February 15, 1971, as part of an effort to educate the public and facilitate the country's changeover from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to the simpler decimal structure. The 10 new pence coin minted in 1968 is especially important because it represents the beginning of this transformational era in British monetary history. The obverse of the coin features the well-known portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, specifically the second portrait designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait, which first appeared on British coins in 1968, shows the Queen wearing the girls of Great Britain an Ireland tiara, a gift from her grandmother Queen Mary. The Machin portrait was widely admired for its grace and realism, and it remained in use on UK coinage until 1984. Around the portrait, the legend reads Elizabeth II DG Regi 1968, which is a Latin abbreviation for Elizabeth II de Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This reflects the traditional British royal titles used for centuries, rooted in both governance and religious leadership. The reverse of the 1968 10 new pence coin was designed by Christopher Ironside, an accomplished artist and heraldic specialist. It features a crowned lion, known as the Lion Passant Guardant, which is a traditional heraldic symbol of England and a historic element of the royal arms of England. The lion is facing forward with one paw raised beneath a St. Edward's crown, symbolizing royal authority and continuity. The reverse also bears the inscription New Pence above and 10 below the crowned lion. The term new pence was used to distinguish these new decimal coins from the old pre-decimal pence. It remained in use until 1981, after which the coins were simply labeled pence, as the decimal system had become the norm. The 1968 10p coin was struck in copper nickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel, had a diameter of 28.5 millimeters, and weighed 11.31 grams, making it larger than the later post-1992 reduced-size 10p coins. Notably, although dated 1968, the coin was never issued for general circulation in that year. It was minted in preparation for the decimalization process and released to the public in 1969 as part of a pre-decimal education campaign. As such, the 1968 issue is considered part of the official decimalization rollout and is often found in mint sets or among coins collected in anticipation of the new system. In terms of production, 336,143,250 coins were minted with the 1968 date, making it a very common coin at the time. Because of the high mintage and long-term circulation use, these coins are still found in collections today, though they were demonetized in 1993, when the smaller version of the 10p coin, introduced in 1992, fully replaced the older, larger version. The demonetization means that the 1968 10p coin is no longer legal tender and cannot be spent in UK commerce. However, it still carries historical and educational value, especially for collectors interested in the decimalization period. In the numismatic community, circulated 1968 10p coins generally have low value due to their high mintage, typically worth face value or slightly more, unless in uncirculated or proof condition, where they might be worth £1 to £5 or more, depending on quality and packaging. Coins from proof sets or brilliant uncirculated sets issued by the Royal Mint are more desirable and can fetch higher prices, especially if well preserved. Overall, the 1968 10 new pence coin is not rare, but it is historically significant, being among the first UK decimal coins and a representation of the modernization of the British monetary system under Queen Elizabeth II. It connects to a wider narrative of post-war economic reform and modernization, and its design reflects a thoughtful blend of traditional heraldry and modern minting aesthetics. The coin serves as a lasting symbol of a pivotal moment in UK coinage, bridging the old imperial system and the practical simplicity of decimal currency.